Have you ever watched someone walk into a room and instantly get taken seriously? Without saying a word, people lean in when they speak. They command meetings without raising their voice. They seem effortlessly respected, even if they're not the most experienced or the loudest in the room. And you think, what do they have that I don't? The answer is executive presence. And here's the good news. It's not about faking confidence or being someone you're not. It's a skill you can build. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to build executive presence and confidence at work, step by step. Let's get started. Hey there, welcome back to the Work Chat. Today, we're diving into a topic that's one of the most misunderstood yet most powerful assets in your career, which is executive presence. And if that phrase makes you picture someone tall, loud, commanding a room with perfect confidence, well, I've got some good news. That image, it's outdated. Because executive presence isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about how people feel when you walk in and how they trust you when you speak. If you've ever felt like you're competent but overlooked, like you have the ideas but not the influence, or like you want to lead but you're stuck behind self-doubt, this episode is for you. I'm going to show you how to build executive presence and confidence at work using a simple, science-backed framework that anyone can apply. No acting, no faking it, no shouting. Just real strategies that work, even if you're not naturally outgoing or charismatic. Let's get into it. Let's start with a truth that doesn't get said enough. Executive presence is not something you're born with. It's something you build. We've been conditioned to think that presence is about being tall, extroverted, confident, polished. But studies show that what people actually respond to is far more nuanced. According to a 2022 study from the Center for Talent Innovation, executive presence is made up of three things. First, gravitas, which is how you handle pressure and project credibility. Second, communication, which is how clearly and confidently you express ideas. And third, appearance, which is how you show up visually and energetically. And here's the kicker. Gravitas was rated the most important of the three. But gravitas isn't about being loud, it's about being grounded. Think of someone who speaks calmly in a crisis, owns their message, and makes others feel steady just by being there. That's gravitas, that's presence, that's influence. So the question becomes, how do you build it? Let me walk you through the four-part presence and confidence framework that high performers use, whether they're introverts, mid-level professionals, or just starting out. All right, step one, own the room without dominating it. Let's talk about how you walk into the room, even virtually. Executive presence starts before you say a word. It's how you enter, how you sit, how you make eye contact, and most importantly, how grounded you feel in your own skin. People can feel when you're trying to impress. They can also feel when you're just present. In a meeting, that means sitting up, making eye contact with purpose, not scanning nervously. On Zoom, that means looking into the camera, not your own video box. In conversation, that means speaking slowly enough to show you're not rushing or apologizing for taking space. Amy Cuddy's research on power poses and body language shows that expansive, open posture increases both perceived confidence and actual hormonal markers of confidence, like testosterone and cortisol regulation. One practice tip is that before a high-stakes moment, for example, a big presentation, take 30 seconds in a quiet space. Breathe deeply. Remind yourself, I don't need to perform, I just need to be fully here. Presence isn't about being big, it's about being anchored. Step 2. Speak with clarity and intent. Next, let's talk about how you communicate. People with executive presence don't necessarily speak more, they just speak with more intent. Instead of rambling, they pause. Instead of rushing, they choose words that land. Instead of peppering ideas with disclaimers, they speak with quiet certainty. You may begin your sentences like, I believe, here's what I see, what I recommend is. Linguistic research shows that removing hedging language such as I might be wrong but, or just a quick thought, significantly increases how credible someone sounds, especially in group settings. For example, don't say, I just think maybe we should consider trying this approach. Say, here's one approach we should look at. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance, it means clarity. Step 3. Regulate emotion under pressure. Here's the part most people overlook. Presence isn't really tested when things are calm. It's tested when things get stressful, a heated client call, a public challenge, a missed deadline. People with real executive presence, they stay steady. They respond, not react. That doesn't mean suppressing emotion. It means being aware of emotion, naming it internally, and choosing your response. Daniel Goleman's research on emotional intelligence shows that leaders with high EQ, especially self-regulation, are consistently rated as more trustworthy, capable, and promotable. When you hear people say, "He doesn't get rattled," "She doesn't take things personally," or "They listen first, then speak," those are the markers of presence. One tactical tip is that when you're in stressful moments, try this 3-second tool. Pause, breathe, repeat internally. This is a moment, not the whole story. Emotional control isn't about bottling up. It's about creating space between stimulus and response. That's what gives your words and your leadership weight. Step 4. Radiate value, not ego. Let's be honest, nothing kills presence faster than performative confidence. You've seen it. The person who talks too much, name drops, interrupts, they're trying to show they belong. But what actually lands? The person who listens deeply, speaks to uplift the room, and stays focused on value over validation. Real presence isn't about proving your worth. It's about serving the moment with your full attention and full contribution. Ask great questions in meetings. Spotlight others when they share good ideas. Show up prepared, not to impress, but to move the conversation forward. Studies on social dynamics show that people who speak less but add higher value per word are rated as more competent, likable, and respected. This isn't about staying quiet. It's about being intentional with your voice and letting your presence speak louder than your pitch. Let me leave you with this one bonus tip about your identify shift. Most people try to build confidence by forcing themselves to act more confident. That's exhausting and short-lived. Here's the shift. Don't try to act like someone with executive presence. Start seeing yourself as someone who leads with calm, clarity, and credibility. When you adopt that identity, even quietly, your behaviors follow. You start speaking up not to impress, but to contribute. You walk into rooms not to dominate, but to guide. You make others feel safe, seen, and confident in your presence. And when people feel that, that's when they start listening differently, following differently, trusting differently. Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap the 4 ways to build executive presence and real confidence at work. First, own the room without dominating it. Use grounded posture, calm energy, and anchoring techniques. Second, speak with clarity and intent. Ditch disclaimers, use intentional language, and speak at a deliberate pace. Third, regulate emotion under pressure. Create space between trigger and response using simple EQ tools. Finally, radiate value, not ego. Be the one who uplifts, contributes, and leads without chasing validation. Here's your challenge for the week. Pick just one of these to try in your next meeting, presentation, or conversation. Just one. Then come back and reflect. How did people respond differently? How did you feel different? And if this episode resonated with you, hit the like and subscribe buttons and share it with someone who's ready to lead with more presence, not more volume. Thanks for being here. And remember, your presence is your power. You don't have to earn it with volume. You just have to step into it with intention. See you next time.